a busy, noisy world, a little girl walks onto a dark stage and begins to perform. She wears her pink princess costume with pride.
Will you love me? Her actions ask. Will you hold me? Will you keep me close to your heart forever? The pain in her eyes screams at you, and with graceful pirouettes across the stage, she beckons you to choose her, to set her apart from the other performers, to call her beloved.
She has wounds buried so deeply beneath her costume that she has almost forgotten they are there. But the laughter of her audiences echoes through her mind as she thinks of all of the times she has tried and failed.
All she has ever wanted is acceptance, but she has never found it, at least not for long. Hey guys, we are starting into our study with the Divine Dance, and right now we're just going to read you setting the stage really quick.
Really quick. Okay, so the book talks about how we all desire to be loved, and when we seek these desires, we become performers, and we morph ourselves into the people that we think we should be for others to love us.
Yeah, and we don't notice when we dance that God has never left his seat, and he's never stopped really paying attention to us.
This kind of reminded us of a verse. It's from Deuteronomy 31:6, and it says, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them. For the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you."
Yeah, audience come and go, but this man is someone who has never ever taken his eyes off you in all your performances.
He answers the question in our hearts that says, "Will somebody love me?" And he answers that with a big yes, and he's always loved us.
If only she could stop to see that man sees her beauty as the way she is.
It also reminded us of Song of Songs 4:7 that says, "You are altogether beautiful, my darling. There's no flaw in you." So like God always sees our beauty, and he just thinks that we're the most beautiful things ever. And he sees our beauty when we're at our best and when we're at our worst. And he knows our flaws, so we have flaws and he knows that, but he doesn't see them as faults against us. He just loves us anyways. And he wants to love us despite our flaws, and he wants to hold us and to keep us close forever.
And when we're not wearing costumes and whether we're smiling or crying, that's when he loves us best, when we're being raw. We don't have to perform for anyone.
Exactly. And that also, again, a verse. I'm always saying the verses. Do you want to say this verse?
Sure.
Okay.
This verse is it's 1 Samuel 16:7. And it says, "For the Lord sees not as man sees. Man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks into the heart."
So that part that we were just talking about really reminded us of that verse, that God sees, he doesn't care if we're dressed up or if we're in our pajamas with no makeup on. Like, he doesn't care. He sees what's inside, and he doesn't care about what we look on the outside.
And this little girl has disregarded the plans that God has for her life because she's been invited to a party that's been held by the world.
She's been missing the divine dance because she's been too busy dancing for the men and the princes instead of noticing the king. So she's focusing on people of the world who don't matter nearly as much as God matters.
Yeah. This little girl is you, or little boy. Each of us, we dance to our own song and our own rhythm, and we dance for the people around us, for our teachers, for our parents, for our siblings, and our friends, and even for people we don't know.
We spend time in front of the mirror to make a statement without using any of our words. So we try to do our makeup perfect and our hair and get the right outfit and all of that.
Whether it's makeup or sports or grades, we're all auditioning for a place in somebody's hearts. Like, when we wear makeup, we want to be liked by our friends, and when we do great at sports, maybe there's like a guy or our parents or something, and we try to please our parents and our teachers with our grades. And
exactly. We're always trying to please someone. And the book talks about how we're authentic, and it's saying, why do we try so hard to dance on the world stage when it could never even understand or dance the same dance that we're dancing, the dance for God?
God did not create us to dance for this world. He created us to dance for him.
Exactly.
And this reminded us of
Romans 12, verse 2. And we took it from the New Living Translation. I just really like the wording of this. But it says, "Don't copy the behavior and customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Then you will learn to know God's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect.
Yeah. And God has created all of us to play a certain role in His play.
He has a role that is made exactly for us. And when you get on the stage and dance and seek and go after your own role and your own story and what you want to do, it breaks God's heart. And you're missing the story that He made for you, the story that's perfect and part of His perfect plan.
God wants to change that. He wants to give you the riches of His kingdom because that's what you've been made to receive.
Exactly. He designed us to glorify Him, and He designed the divine dance so that while we dance it, others watch us, and then they'll see us, and they'll want to dance this dance, and they'll want to dance the dance that glorifies God too.
Yeah. Here's a quote from the book. Take off the vanity-stained leotard the world has offered you, and slip on God's grace. He wants to clothe you in righteousness and set you apart.
So the costumes that you dress in will make you the person you become. So dance for the one who is deserving of worship, and the one who desires worship, and dance for Him alone. So the things that you do and the dances that you dance will eventually change you into a person that you weren't before. And so if you're always dancing a dance for your friends, eventually that's just who you're going to be. And so just dance the dance for God and not for your friends or not for your parents. Dance the dance that God wants you to dance so that you can be more like God. Okay, so that was kind of the main points that we got and the things that really spoke to us from that little kind of forward introduction kind of thing that's in the book. So we hope that you learned something. Leave us your comments on what you think of what we talked about, and if you have the book, what your thoughts were on this little introduction, and we would love to hear them.
So I think that's it. Is that it?
Yes, that's all we have to say.
So we'll see you in our next video.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.